Intriguing Insights podcast with Lyn
and Carl
is your weekly invitation to be a fly on the wall for the real, intriguing, yet fun conversations we like to have about life and the world around us.
From our hobbies, interests, and opinions to true crime, current events, and music. Join us as our minds wander together.
You just might be intrigued.
Hello.
How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, good. Well, I guess today we're talking about one of our favorite topics, right?
Yes.
What would that be?
How we met.
Yes. That's one of our favorite topics.
What are we gonna do in the future and the present?
Yeah. Very cool. And a little bit of the past too, because that sort of plays into it as well,
Yep.
That the past tends to color the present and the future sometimes, but in good ways.
Yes.
In good ways.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll talk about how we met.
All right.
So, it was the night before Christmas. No, it wasn't the night before Christmas, actually. It was right before the holidays, though. It's a quiz.
Yes, it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't really that long ago, was it?
No, it hasn't even been 2 years yet.
Almost, right? Okay.
But we've done so much in the last, year and a half or whatever we've been together. It feels like it's been, a longer time.
Yes, but
Feels like we've known each other for years and years.
Oh,
even
yeah.
though we haven't.
Yes.
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
Definitely.
But the day was September 27th, 2024 that we met, right?
And what is the date now?
What is the date now? It is April 19th, 2026.
2026.
So, that's like, a year and a half. There's no way it's only been a year and a half.
It seems like a lot longer, right?
It does. That seems wrong, but that's a year and a half we met. September 27th, 2024, he and I met. And we met on the wonderful dating app called Tinder.
Oof. Thank the Lord. So there's a lot of horror stories on dating apps, and I'm actually I didn't get a horror story, so go ahead and describe your experience with it.
Well, my experience with as he alluded to, my experience with Tinder was a little more extensive than his. You were only on there for a week, you said, right?
Yeah, I never used it. I was just joking around, and I was living with these guys, and I just went through a breakup, and actually, it wasn't just a breakup. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay by myself, and I was single for a long time, and they're like, just try Tinder. You're new to Orlando. You don't know nobody. Just try it. And boom, now we're here.
Wow. So the friends, peer pressure, you gave into peer pressure.
Peer pressure, yeah. But at that point where I was at in my life, I was like, you know what? I need to figure out how to love myself first. So I wasn't interested in anything. I was doing some work on myself, and it worked out, and I'm grateful that you were very independent too, and didn't need anybody. I didn't need anybody either. So it worked out very well.
And the reason why I think that is a good thing is that we're not with each other out of necessity. It's because we want to be.
Yes,
And that makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, that definitely does make a huge difference.
So yeah, you gave into peer pressure. You were on there for a whole week.
Yes, one for one. I never met up with anybody else or anything, and we're here now, running strong.
I was the date to end all dates.
Yes, and we both actually deleted it. Remember, that was like a moment.
That was a moment.
And she was like, "Can you delete the Tinder apps?" I'm like, "I don't even fucking use this shit." I'm like, "Look at my phone, it's not even there." And she's like, "Yeah, but just can we delete it?" So we took it and made it a moment to both what do they call it?
Deactivate the wait.
Deactivate.
We just got rid of it.
Yeah, we just got rid of it altogether.
Got rid of it on our phones. So, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, he was only on there for a week and he met me. But so my experience with Tinder, was much more extensive. I had probably been dating. I was dating longer than you were, clearly. But I was on Tinder for probably like a good 6 months or so, 5-6 months maybe. And I had the paid version of Tinder,
And I didn't.
He had the free version.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I had met a few guys on there, and of course, I met some of the trash that lives on Tinder, and some of those horror stories are true, But after a while, just kind of, and I wasn't putting like, yeah, I was dating to find somebody, but it wasn't like I was having these great expectations because, well, it was Tinder, you know what I mean? And I'd had some experiences on Tinder, but then September 27th, 2024 came along and there was his profile on my feed, and I was scrolling through and came across him. He's making faces at me right now. And I said, "Oh wow, he's really handsome." And I scrolling through his pictures at the first picture, and I'll tell you kind of how it played out. But the part of the story is that prior to meeting him, maybe some weeks prior to, was talking to somebody else, and this person was a chef as well.
So you had a bad taste in your mouth on seeing my profession.
Yes. So this guy was a chef. He was not nice at all. So bad experience.
You put the chefs in a category of what? Negativity?
Yeah, well, being just generally assholes.
Okay.
Which this person was to me. So I had a bad taste in my mouth about chefs, and
And this guy seemed like he was full of himself, and he was the best thing.
Extremely. Okay. So then I just had a bad taste in my mouth. So I saw your profile, and I said, "Oh, he's really handsome." I saw the first picture. It was just a normal picture. He had a baseball cap on, whatever. And I scrolled to your next picture, and okay, he's good looking. Hey, does he have blue eyes? All right. So with me, blue eyes and dark hair is a thing. So I was like, all right, he's really handsome, but he's not going to be my type. I'm not his type. He's not going to like me. Whatever. He's too good looking. And then I scroll. I think it was like the third or fourth picture, and I see that he's got a chef's coat on. I was like, oh man, he's a chef. So he's totally gonna be an asshole. I know. This other dude was a chef. He's an asshole. This one's gonna be an asshole too. And I was like, he's so good looking that he's gonna think he's gonna be full of himself. I know it. But I was looking at the pictures, going, man, but he's so good looking, and those blue eyes, and whatever. So I scrolled past, and I had the Tinder membership where you can reconsider the last person you swiped left on. So the story was that this relationship almost didn't happen because I swiped left on Mr. Carl here.
Declined.
But man, those blue eyes and that hair, I just couldn't. you know. So I kind of reconsidered a couple of times. I scrolled back and left and right on him a few times, going, "Oh, he's a chef, though. He's gonna be really not a nice person, but man, he's the blue eyes, and he's just so good looking." So anyway, in my indecisiveness and swiping left and right on him, I fat fingered it and I swiped left one too many times. And if you do that one too many times, you can't like go back to the person.
Boom. And I was gone
So
forever.
I thought he was gone. So I was like, nah, whatever. There'll be more. So I guess the Tinder algorithm, when it shows you a profile, it also shows that person your profile, I guess, to see if there's a match, whatever. And he must have seen my profile on his feed as he was giving into peer pressure and just messing around on Tinder. And then I get a message in my Tinder inbox that he had waved at me. And I look at the message and I was like, oh, it's him.
Boom.
I had forgotten about him, but it was like maybe like 2-3 hours later.
I'm back.
And it's him. And I was like, oh, he's waving at me? He must have liked my profile. Oh my gosh, he liked what he saw. Wow. So he and I started chit-chatting on Tinder, and I asked him, I said, what did you like about my profile? Because I totally didn't expect that he would pay any attention to my profile. He said, you're just very beautiful. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was it.
And that was that.
That was that. And we
Okay.
chatted on the Tinder app the rest of that evening. We exchanged phone numbers.
Okay.
And
then what happened next? We decided to meet up.
Yeah.
And where did we meet up at?
We met up at the place that you made me choose.
Ooh, okay.
So I know that he's a chef, I know he knows about food, and here I am, just me, and I'm like, great. He's gonna make me pick the restaurant. I'm gonna pick a shitty one, and he's gonna think it's like awful, and like he's never gonna want to see me again.
Well, yeah, it was two birds with one stone because you're hungry, anyways, and you get to meet up. And we went to the Cheesecake Factory that was connected to a mall.
Yeah, and it was actually the very next day, September 28th, 2024, that we decided to meet up. And, people might be like, oh my God, that's so fast. But you know what? When you know, you know. And, it was just, I was done being one of these people that was so super cautious and just, you know what? If we chatted, we had a good time chatting with each other. I was like, what do I have to lose?
Isn't it crazy that when you go back and you relive a memory, and you don't realize the details that you remember from that moment, and then when you replay it in your head, that you remember almost everything about that memory?
Yeah. What do you remember that's coming back to you? What detail?
No, I just remember the tile on the floor in the Cheesecake Factory, and I thought the Cheesecake Factory was like a high quality place, and then I realized very fast that it is not that high quality of a place,
It's a mass-produced restaurant, like a lot of the other chains. But you know what? It was nice.
So, in my experience, the Cheesecake Factory actually sells cheesecakes as well. So, if you are a restaurant and you want to get a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake, you can actually buy their cheesecake and sell it in your restaurants
as your own cheesecake.
Well, yeah, you kind of jazz it up a little bit so that it's not the same exact cheesecake, but they do sell cheesecakes to other restaurants.
So is this what was going through your brain as we met at the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, I was kind of analyzing the restaurant, and it's like it's kind of like a sickness. Like even when I did drywall, I had a sickness too. When I walk into the room, instantly I start analyzing the area and seeing the imperfections in the walls and even the perfections in the wall, So when you do a career, you analyze that product or that thing that you do for a living, and a lot of people are like, oh, I would have did this different, and I would have did this different. And that's the sickness uh that hurts, because you're judging everybody else's work. And that's probably where that ego comes in chefs, when you're like, hey, I would have did this and I would have did that. So you're
True.
you're trashing people, thinking that you're better, you know.
I feel like that's probably just an occupational hazard for everybody because you know what it is for me. Since I studied psychology, I'm constantly analyzing people.
Yes, which is a good thing.
Is it a good thing? I don't know.
I think it's a good thing. It could be.
I come across people I don't want to be in their heads.
Well, yeah, it could be a bad thing as well, you know. So you got to find that medium.
Sometimes you realize things about people and like, dang, wow. But I that's kind of just having studied psychology. I look at I people watch. I watch people, how they behave, what they do, what they say, and all that
So
stuff.
now you know why it is so hard for me to go out to eat.
I know.
Which is why I don't go out to eat
I know.
anymore, because I don't want to trash people and analyze people and all that stuff. And just for the cost alone, because I can produce food that's better for way cheaper. So it's kind of unfair for me to go out to eat, you know?
Well, it's almost like you know too much about the business, and so you can't. You're not fooled by the psychology behind it, like us average folk, But so yeah, we met at the Cheesecake Factory the very next day. It was nice. We had brunch.
And then we went back just recently.
Yeah.
On what was that? Mother's Day, maybe?
No, it was my sister's birthday.
Oh, it was a birthday.
Yeah, we went back.
And it was the same.
I mean, it's you've been to one, you've been to all.
Yeah, it was the same experience.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm not a fan of the Cheesecake Factory.
So yeah, we that first meeting was nice. We meshed really well, and the thing about it is that he was completely different than I expected. So all that judgment I'd passed on him because he was a chef and he was super good looking and all that stuff. I went into the meeting, honey, thinking that you were just going to be a pretty face, and that was it. And that you weren't going to have any personality. You weren't going to, and he completely surprised me. He was the complete opposite. So
don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover, because this book was completely different than I expected. He was interesting. He was the thing I noticed about him is that he's very wise. And it's because he's had a lot of different life experiences. And a lot of them I understand were not easy and were hard. But he was very wise, very interesting, had been to a lot of interesting places, experienced a lot of interesting things, had a lot of different interests, was smart, could hold an intelligent conversation with me, and I was just completely surprised that he had an awesome personality, and he was very kind and sweet and polite and very gentlemanly.
And I paid.
And he paid.
Yeah, we didn't do separate checks, did we?
Did we? We may have. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Did I?
I have no idea. I don't remember that.
No, I think
that's a detail I don't remember.
I'm almost 1,000% that I paid for
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
That played nothing into my decision.
What if I would have pushed the check over to you?
I wouldn't have cared.
They tried to give me the bill, and I'm just like,
I wouldn't have cared.
That's for you.
I wouldn't have cared. You know what? I was at a point still where I would have just been like, whatever.
Yep. And then we walked around the mall, and it was a very good. It was a good mall.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
We chit-chatted. We kind of got to know each other, and honestly, from that point on, I feel like he had won me over already, because I was just so surprised at how different he was than what I expected, and so much better than I expected.
And then we parted ways.
And but what was your take on the whole thing? I've only shared my take on our first date and the conversation.
Yeah, so we walked in, and she had gold on, and I'm not a
Gold.
gold person, so
It was dripping in
in
gold.
gold. So yeah, yeah. So we
So that's
started
one of the first
talking,
things you
and
noticed.
she was definitely career oriented, so that was a plus. Um, Independence. She didn't need me. We were on two career paths where we can handle ourselves. So it was a good change, you know.
And so,
And
why was that a thing for you that I be independent and career
well,
oriented?
just because in my previous relationships, it was always like I had to take care of other people, and I was done doing that. You know, I
Okay.
was just like, you know what, I need to find someone that doesn't need me, doesn't, you know, that wants me. That's the difference. Uh, you gotta want somebody. You know, you don't want to just have someone to because you need that person, you know. So there's a difference,
Okay.
you know. So independence was a good thing. And I was so new to the area that I was like, okay, she's from Orlando, so she can actually show me around a little bit. And yeah.
And show you around, I did.
Uh-huh. And then we walked around the mall and we just talked for like a good hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to work that night and then I went to sleep, I think. And then the next day I went to work and I got out early and I was like, nah, I'm kind of bored. Let's see. So I messaged back, blah, blah, blah. You want to go hang out and go see a movie? And she's like, sure. So I didn't realize how big Orlando is, though, you know, because it was just Orlando to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you can drive for 45 minutes and technically still be in Orlando.
Oh, Orlando's a big
So
city.
yeah, Orlando to me goes from Kissimmee to Claremont. That's how big Orlando is to
Yeah,
me.
that's
It's
one
just
side
a,
of Orlando at
you know what I
least.
mean?
Yeah.
So we ended up meeting up for a movie, and
Yeah.
it was a good movie,
It's kind of
right?
spur of the moment. It was very spontaneous. Very
Yeah.
nice. It was a
And
good
we
movie.
seen a movie called See No Evil.
Yeah. And we got there kind of early because I don't know. I don't know why we. How did we get there so early? I feel like we talked for a while. Maybe it wasn't that long that we talked, or it was just that the conversation was just that fun and interesting that it just felt like we were sitting there for like
Yeah, I think
30 minutes or
we went
something.
to like what was it, the last showing? What was it,
Yeah,
11
maybe it was
o'clock?
the last showing.
Because we didn't know.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what movie it was. We
Oh, yeah.
just picked a movie,
And
you
I
know?
think we had the theater almost to ourselves. So we sit there and we chit chatted, we joked, and
Uh-huh.
it was a good another good conversation. Then we watched the movie.
Yeah, and it was a psychological, like, what would you put
Yeah,
that
it's
movie
kind of
in?
one of those psychological thrillers. But you know,
Was it a horror movie?
I guess it was horror-ish.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Maybe it was a good movie.
Yeah.
But you know, it was nice. It was a fun, spontaneous date,
Uh-huh.
and so yeah, that was what the third day after we met. We'd already hung out like twice already,
Uh-huh.
and you know, he walked me to my car in the parking garage,
Ooh, and what happened next?
and that was where our first kiss took place.
The
The
smoocheroo.
smoocheroo happened.
Was there a noise?
There was noise.
Was there a kiss noise during this smoocheroo?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. Once the smoocheroo started, you know, the senses were dulled. You know, because you know it was a magical smoocheroo. I will say I
Okay.
will never forget that smoocheroo.
The power of the kiss.
You know, and at that point, I knew that there was a spark between us. Not only were you a fascinating, interesting person that I thought was just, I don't know, I just liked you, and I knew that you were different
So
than the
there
others.
was more.
And then there was the smoocher, and I was like, oh, let's see what's the deal,
Gotcha.
you know.
So there was
And I
an
said to him, I said, I want to see you again. I want to keep seeing you.
okay.
And that was
And
it. And we kept seeing each other.
yes. And now boom.
What did you think of the smooch? Did you think the smoocheroo was gonna happen?
Yeah, I figured it would.
You think it would
Yeah.
that night?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And it happened organically.
it
It
did.
wasn't like pressured or anything like that. So it was
So we were
good.
both feeling the connection and the spark.
Yes.
I felt so too. Look at that.
Boom.
We've been on the same page since the beginning.
Yeah, and then we took it slow for a while, you know, and I told you that I'm gonna show you a different way how to love differently, you know.
Yeah.
So we took it very slow because we were both healing from bad experiences in the past,
So
and it grew gradually and organically.
it did. It did. And speaking of the past, I mean, like, so just for context, just my past with relationships, I mean, it wasn't very extensive. So I had been married. I had been married
I was
for
married. I was married as well.
yeah. He was married as well. We both
So
been
we were
married.
both previously married, and
Yeah,
now
both previously married. I had met my former husband when I was 19, and he was 25. So from very, I was young. So pretty much, I spent my entire adult life with him up until that point. We were together for 9 years before we got married, and we were married for 12 years. Um, so I didn't have a lot of dating experience prior to that, So it's not I didn't know anything about dating. So once things ended, and I started dating in my late 30s or early 40s, it was a completely new thing to me. Like, I didn't understand any of it. But yeah, so I had been married for that amount of time. Never had any children. Wanted children very badly, but that didn't work out that way.
I don't want any.
Um, I don't want any
Yeah,
anymore. That I have sweat that fever, and I have come to terms with that, and I am a okay.
me too. Me
You
as
know,
well.
but that relationship was my marriage was definitely different. And that's pretty much the only serious relationship I'd had up until that point in my life. And he was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2018. So I went through that whole cancer battle with him, and things got a little complicated towards the end. Cancer changes people. It changes the person suffering from the cancer. It changes the people around them that are taking care of them. I pretty much became caregiver, um, and not so much wife anymore.
Gotcha.
And
My
things.
I had a experience with the whole cancer all thing too, so we kind of knew some of the, that was a bond because my mom died during her teenage years, and I did the whole hospice thing, and so we had that connection. I seen chemotherapy going on and all that stuff, so we kind of could relate on some
Yeah.
of those things.
Yeah, and and so you understood, and
I understood.
that how that works. And when it comes to a marriage is hard anyway.
Yeah, without
Much
complications.
less
Yeah.
complications of things like terminal illness and things like that to add to it. So things got a little complicated towards the end. We were actually in the process of getting divorced when he passed away. Um, so that was my experience with relationships coming into it. And throughout our relationship, his health wasn't really ever that good. So there was always an element of me being caregiver, in addition to being a spouse. And so that kind of colored my view on relationships, and it changed the way that I was. I definitely was always very independent anyway, just, from growing up, and, just situations growing up and things like that, and understanding that I kind of had to make my own way in the world, because there wasn't always going to be somebody there to rescue me, save me,
Gotcha. So now it's
really do
different, right?
anything for me.
Yeah.
So I learned how to be very independent. I was on purpose very independent. I didn't need other people. I didn't want other people. I didn't, and that sort of made it to where I was the type of woman that I wasn't very soft. Um, I, uh, I was a baddie. I could pretty much handle myself, and I did. and that never let me really show my soft feminine side that I've discovered now. Um,
Well, you
so and I
couldn't,
couldn't
couldn't.
exactly I couldn't because you can't make it in the world being that way. And so that's kind of my experience with relationships. So kind of coming into our relationship, that's been my experience, and he has shown me a different way. It's been completely different, you know. And so, but and as Mr. Carl has said here, he's had a similar past, I guess, right? What colors your view of relationships
Um,
from your past?
yeah, so I was married, got divorced. Yeah, so I've always had to be the one that was also taking care of everybody else. So I didn't know how to love myself. So that's what I was working on. I was working on taking care of myself and learning how to love myself first, because if you don't love yourself, you cannot love somebody else the proper way. So I had been taking care of so many other people for so long that I kind of lost myself, you know. I couldn't make a decision on my own,
Mm.
and I had to figure that out because I gave the power to someone else, hoping that they're going to make the best decision for us as a whole. And it wasn't right. They were making horrible decisions, and I would just go along with it, you know.
Mm.
So I figured it out, and I it also became I was also cold, so I built this like armor that I would only let people in to a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would figure out how to get them out of the bubble. So once I grew and I healed, I decided to let people in, but I don't let people in very often. Like if I call you and you're my friend, you know. So if you are my friend, you're one of the lucky ones.
Mm.
So yeah, so I figured out how to love myself, and I told you that I'm going to show you a different way, you know,
Yeah,
and we're still learning how to do it.
of course, it's a work in
You're always
progress.
gonna learn how to, you know, manage life and all that stuff. But I am forever grateful for the Tinder app, and I took a chance, and it paid off,
It
you
did.
know. And you don't know somebody's hobbies right away, and I had some hobbies, and I was like, hey, you ever wanna try this and try that? And she gravitated to some of the stuff that I liked, and it works, you know.
Yeah, but I didn't. So part of the whole like being caregiver to my former husband and things like that, I didn't know myself. Just because I didn't have
Yes,
time, I was pouring every drop of myself
into somebody else.
into somebody else,
Yeah.
into the marriage, and I completely lost myself, you know? And so one of the big things, after I got out of that relationship and that situation was kind of like getting to know myself. Like for the longest time, I felt like a fish out of water because I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know
Oh
what I
yeah.
wanted. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't. I'm like, so what do I do now? Like I don't even know anything.
Yeah,
So
don't know where to start, right? It's
yeah,
crazy.
and so like you know, and Carl was kind of like in the same boat, I guess, where we're trying to just figure out ourselves and get to know ourselves and stuff like that. And I think in the process, we've discovered we've done all kinds of fun stuff. We've discovered all kinds of cool hobbies that we're into together, and
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of the things that works about our
Well,
relationship.
yeah. So, how I really started it was I was like a bucket list. We didn't make a bucket list of stuff to do, but when I would introduce her into new things, I was like, "Have you ever done that?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Cross it off the bucket list," you know. So I was just showing her new stuff, and she really liked some of the stuff, you know? So that's how I live the bucket list. I gotta cross stuff off, you know?
And you know, the thing was is that I could actually enjoy those things because, I mean, I didn't have to worry about the caretaking part of it because a lot of the things, you know, he's you know a normal able-bodied man, and so I could actually go along and enjoy the hobby and not be worried about corralling everybody. You know what I mean? Which was the case
Well, yeah. So I was
before.
doing that as well too in my previous I wasn't living, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was just surviving if that makes sense. Because I would always have to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah,
But at the end, I don't have to make sure everybody's
I
okay.
know.
I got to make sure I am okay. And now that we're together, and now I have to make sure I'm okay and you're okay. But
Yeah,
you can take care of yourself. So it takes a ton of pressure off of me to make sure that I'm okay,
yeah.
you know?
And it just
So,
leaves a bunch of room for us to just
oh
enjoy
yeah.
ourselves, enjoy ourselves, and enjoy each other.
Yes, so it's different, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it.
So I think that that's I think so then I think that that's one of the really great things about our relationship is that you know we are both at phases in our lives where we can just enjoy each other and just have fun, you know?
And it's not complicated.
And it's uncomplicated and we've experienced enough of what we don't want that we know what we do want and we're both so invested in that part of it
Yeah, and you
that
know,
you know it
the real
just
cool thing is that I'm not from this area still. I've been here for a little while, but nobody knows who the fuck I am, you know? So there's no old drama or any fucking bullshit that people can fucking get into because you know, like, if you've been in an area for so long, your whole life, you know someone that knows somebody that knows somebody, and there's this
mm-hmm.
weird, like, drama that always fucking
Yeah, you don't
happens.
feel like you can ever start fresh
No,
ever
because it's a fucking pool of
because
people
something's
that
gonna
have,
follow you
yeah,
always.
something's happened and this person don't like this person. But with me, I'm fucking not from here, so it does not matter. Nobody
So
knows who the fuck I am.
clean slate.
So I had a clean slate. So it is what it is. So
Yeah,
we're
and you know
moving forward, and it's a good dynamic of what we got.
we were both, and I think we one of the things that really worked and allowed us to relate is that we met both at we were like in the same phases of our lives, even though it was kind of different situations. We were both kind of rebuilding,
But yeah, it could have
you
been,
know.
well, so how it worked is it could have been like, hey, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, I don't like you. You don't like me. Well, fuck it, you know? And that was that. It could have been gone in the wind, you know? But
Yeah,
for some reason, it all worked out and
yeah.
everything happens for a reason. So we're in a good spot,
So
you
yeah,
know?
yeah we're doing great. We're discovering new hobbies together.
And we're in the podcast game, baby.
The podcast is the latest hobby we've
Oh,
discovered.
yeah.
This is fun, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
So yeah, you know, there's lots of the way that our relationship evolved, and you know how it works. It just feels right, and you know, I have found so much peace and happiness and contentment, and just I've discovered new things in this relationship about myself. You know, dysfunctional things about myself that I've been working on. You know, I've learned things about him that you know are just you know I my view of him improves every single day. Just seeing the way that he works on himself and that he the way that he cares and the way that he cares for me and the way that he you know works hard and you know just things about him that you know you wouldn't be able to tell from the surface that are there, and you know I'm blessed to be one of the people that he allows in to be able to see who he truly is, because I'm telling you he is gold on the inside, gold. And I know he doesn't always think that of himself, but he is truly gold. And
Yeah, I think I'm my own best friend, my own worst enemy at the same time.
aren't we all though?
And I think that's a good way to look at it because you always push yourself to try and improve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
I have to prove it to myself. And I've kind of always been the underdog, you know? And I have to prove it to myself as the only person I have to really prove it to. But something about proving it to the world keeps a fire lit that gives me a little bit of extra oomph, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
But there's nobody that I have to prove anything to. So it's basically me versus me, you know?
Mm-hmm. So how has our relationship changed you? What's one thing that's changed about you because of our relationship?
Uh, I'm still working on organization.
Organization.
That's always gonna be,
Is it
I
is
think.
a little bit of my OCD-ness rubbing off on you? You think? I
Um,
wouldn't consider myself super OCD. Much more than I was before, but no,
no, I don't
no.
think it works out. I don't see anything that's um, out of the normal, so that doesn't really affect anything. But yeah, um,
I think
st-
one thing that
stability is a good thing. You
mhm.
know, we have the same hobbies and goals, so that's good. Um,
Yeah,
but
for at least for me, I think one of the things that has changed about me because of this relationship is that I can relax and I can let out my soft side
yeah, that's a good one.
that I didn't always real that I didn't I guess I didn't realize was always there because I couldn't let her out. But I feel like
Now you can be a little soft.
I've been
Yes,
able to be in what they call my soft era,
that's a good one.
where I can actually relax
Well,
and
I don't.
feel safe and be
I
able to
think
do that with
I
him.
could probably let off my soft self around you too, but I really don't. I don't think I have it. You
What do you
know.
mean? Yes, you do.
Uh,
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
yeah,
you do.
just a little
You
bit,
let
a
me
little
in.
bit, a little bit, a little
The
bit.
the tough exterior is still there, but you let me in.
Yeah, but there's nothing to really let out. I think I let it out already. So
Yeah, but so like
yeah, I don't have to be
yeah,
as the past. I can feel old. I can be old. You know, I don't have to be macho.
you're not
You
old.
know,
We're not old. We're
so
young old.
yeah.
Young old.
Um,
But so like yeah. So that's us. That's how we met. That's how our relationship works. And you know what? As far as the future, I just the possibilities are endless.
oh yeah,
I see nothing. I see nothing holding us back in the future.
yeah.
What do you think, honey?
We're gonna keep it pushing and keep it moving and only improve on what we got going on here.
Yeah, it's
You know.
only the beginning of the fun we're gonna have.
Yes. Some things. What are some
what are
things that
some
we?
things you want to do in the future? I mean,
Uh,
there's clearly a major future for us.
yes. What do you think?
I don't know.
I liked events. I like doing stuff and creating memories. Um, which goes back to the bucket list.
So
So,
what are some memories you want us to create in the future, honey? I want to know.
happiness, smile, maybe buy something together.
Buy something together. Okay.
Um, we started a podcast, which is cool because this is ours together, you
Yeah,
know, and the world gets to see us, which is cool.
yeah, that's
So
pretty cool.
I'm kind of using this podcast as a stepping stone, and it is ours
Yeah,
together.
a thing that we created. We
It's,
created lots
we
of cool things
created
together.
something and we want to share
Yeah.
our views with the world.
Well, I definitely want to keep creating with you. We'll definitely be
Definitely.
creating
We're
things.
creating a
You know,
life.
we're creating we're creating this new fun fresh life for for ourselves and with each other. It's been great.
Yes,
So yeah, I
definitely.
think that we will continue to do this for a very very
As
long
yes,
time.
and it's not about money. This isn't a business. This is just to get our views to the world, and we would have this conversation anyway. So we're just going to put it on record, And I've always made music, and I'm getting into better equipment, and the internet has evolved, and I like it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it rolling and keep it pushing, you know?
You want to know what I want for us in the
What do
future?
you want for the
I want to
future?
travel. That's one of the things
Yes.
I want to do. I want to travel because I haven't gotten to do nearly enough of that. I feel like in my life, you know,
Uh-huh.
I've left the United States, but you know, there's plenty of places I want to travel
I
to.
left the United States as well.
So yeah, I want for us to
I
travel in
went
the
to
future. I think travel should be part of our future.
I went to Canada.
Yeah,
Does that count?
that counts.
No, it
It
doesn't
counts.
count. It doesn't count.
It counts.
Okay.
So like, why do you think that relationships fail then?
Because they're not honest with each other.
Honesty. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
They fail because people grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad thing sometimes, you know? For a relationship to fail, it hurts when it happens, and it's it's actually what is meant to happen, you know? When a relationship fails, ooh, there's a pain in there in your heart, and you don't know how, and you're like, ooh, oh, and it hurts, and you don't know how to get rid of it. But eventually, that pain goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever heard the phrase, some people gotta die for others to live?
Yeah.
Well, relationships have to die so new ones can begin.
True. That is true.
And the ones, when it feels right, it usually is right.
Mm-hmm.
So I am grateful that all my previous relationships failed so that I could find this one.
Yeah, and here we are. You know, I feel like, in my opinion, I think that relationships fail when you lose respect for that person, you know, and you stop being their friend. You know,
Yes, that's a good one.
I feel like
What about when people are not treated as equals?
yes, that has a big thing to
Right?
do because I think that power, not
Some
necessarily a power thing, but you know, if you don't view each other as on the same playing field, I think that affects
uh-huh.
things very much for sure.
So yeah, when you're not viewed as equals, and you're not like on the same wavelength, if that makes sense, um, resentment and stuff like that starts happening. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when one person is up here and the other one's down here, now there's this tension, and it's not good. And yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, huh, it's tough. So you gotta treat people as equals, you know,
Yeah.
and then it will
Yeah.
work. It's good. It's a good dynamic. It's different that way. When
Yeah.
one person is in charge, and like there's a, what do they call it? There's a dominant and a submissive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't have to be the alpha or the dominant. I want you to do what you want to do. I don't want you to feel like you have to do something to make me feel happy or whatever. I want it to happen organically. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to force you to make the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
You should make the right decision on your own, you
Yeah.
know? So that's just the
Yeah.
way I look at it.
That's an interesting insight because I totally agree with you that if when there is that that difference in the dynamic where one person's viewed like in charge and the other one's just following along,
The shit
you
show.
you can sit there and say, "Oh, we're not gonna ever resent each other. It's not ever gonna." Oh, just you wait.
Just wait.
As you're saying that it's not going to grow into resentment, it's growing into resentment, and one day you'll reach a limit.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too is like when one person's up here and the other one's down here, right? And you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're giving, and the first time you say, fuck that, I'm not giving you shit, them motherfuckers are gone. So
Mm-hmm.
it's weird. So that's why I just want
Yeah.
everyone to be equal and make the right decision. You know what's right and what's wrong. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So let's just see what's gonna happen.
And
So,
as far as the whole friendship thing, that I think
oh, you have to. That's
you
a
gotta be
yeah.
underneath. We like to think about relationships as just purely romantic, and about the romantic side of things. But at the core of it, there has to be a friendship there. You have to consider. You have to not only love this person, you have to like this person,
Yes.
because you're not if you're not friends with that person, you're not gonna when times get tough, you're not gonna know how to treat that person. You know what I mean?
Well,
Because you treat somebody who is genuinely your friend. You treat them a certain way.
so
You
there.
wouldn't say bad things to them. You wouldn't yell at them. You wouldn't tear them down. You wouldn't try to harm them or hurt them in any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a uh, mental attraction. What do they call that? There's physical attraction, and then there's emotional. What is it?
Like emotional
Yeah. Yeah.
connection.
So it's all got to go.
Yeah,
Because the physical attraction, it can only get you so far. You know.
of course. Yeah. I
So
mean,
you gotta really love everything about that. There's pros and cons. If you love more than you hate about the person, so they're complicated,
yeah, it is complicated. But you know what? I think, like I said, because all the stuff that feeds into physical attraction, that stuff's gonna fade. We're gonna
Yeah,
get old one day. I'm gonna be all old and wrinkly like an old
uh-huh.
bag. We're gonna be all gray and everything.
I already
All the
am.
physical attraction stuff is gonna
I
go away.
already am
And if
all
there's
gray.
and if there's nothing behind it, that if you don't like the person behind all of that stuff, then
Yes,
there's nothing left.
there's nothing
There's
left.
nothing left.
You are absolutely
So I
right.
feel like that friendship and that bond is a key, and I think that that's something that we have, because I consider you're my person, man.
Yeah, you have to.
You're my best friend.
We're number ones.
And that I think not only kind of ensures that, like I said, when all that physical attraction stuff eventually goes away, you still have a relationship with that person, but it also plays into the present of how we treat each other as well, because like I said, you wouldn't treat your friend in any other way than with kindness, with caring,
I don't know.
with
Well,
love, with
so
consideration, and all of those
yeah,
things.
the whole friendship thing is great in a relationship, but just being friends with regular people, that's tough too because guys have a different way of being friends with each other, which is a whole nother topic, and I don't really want to
Yeah,
serve
well, that's
the
different,
nest
you know.
because especially in the sports guys like athletes. Um, there's a lot of hazing and like you're like I would never say that to one of my friends, but when you're when you're in the guys are different. There's a little raz. Some people can handle that hazing and that shit talking, and some people cannot. So it could get sticky, but that's a whole nother topic.
That's a
That
different kind of friendship.
you
You know
know,
what I mean?
yeah,
But still, even with that behind it, it's purely love and admiration for
it
you.
is.
It's
It
just that
is.
guys love each
Just
other a little
different. Yeah.
differently. You guys like to
Yes.
beat each other up.
Some people can't.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the younger generation compared to my generation, I look at them. These kids are soft as they're so.
But see, being when it comes to friendship behind a romantic relationship, it's different.
It is
It's just
different.
it's the softer
Oh yeah, you
kind
gotta
of
be able
friendship.
to
It's the kind of
share.
friendship where
Oh yeah,
you're very kind to the person, and so like little things that I do for you that you may not sometimes you may not even notice, but like one, it's important to me because I know that kindness is such a big part of keeping a strong relationship. So like the whole thing about me putting out your coffee cup in the morning,
mm-hmm.
I know it's a small minor thing. It takes literally nothing to do it, but if there's anything that I feel somehow makes your day just even a little more pleasant, a little bit easier, even if you don't drink the coffee. I still do it because that's just like a little kindness thing, you know? Or sometimes when I know that you come home and you're exhausted from work, I'll pull out your pajamas for you. Not because I'm trying to control you or tell you what to wear, but because I know that's one less decision that you have to make after you have been running around that kitchen all day.
Ooh. Yeah, I would just pass out on the couch.
Would make your night just even a little bit easier. That you don't have to think about it.
Pass out on the couch, still in my work uniform.
I just do that. And sometimes you come in and you throw yourself on the couch and you're just like, oh, I'm tired. And I will take off your shoes for you.
Ooh.
Not because I think you can't do it.
Makes it easier.
But because it's a little kind thing that makes something a little bit easier for you. You know?
Okay.
So I feel like the friendship and the kind, and I wouldn't do that for somebody that's not my friend. You know? I'd be like, go to bed dirty. What do I care about you?
Yeah, dude. Who are you?
But because you're my friend, I'm kind to you.
Yes, that is definitely key.
You know? And so I think that's one of the keys. You know?
It has to be.
But,
okay.
You know, so what's one of your favorite memories that we've created together in the last year and a half that feels like it's been years?
Oh, a lot longer, huh?
Yeah. What's one of your favorite memories? What's one of the favorite? We've done lots of fun stuff together.
Yeah. I know we did go on one vacation together, which wasn't a picked vacation, but that was pretty cool what we did.
Which one was it?
The West Virginia one.
True. Yeah. That was a good trip.
I tried to make the best out of it, even though it was a tough situation for you. But
so
I tried to make it easier, and that's kind of how we ended up in the idea of podcasting. Kind of.
Was it really?
Well, the photography is what we started doing, but media and photography and podcasting and all that stuff and interviewing and it's all gonna go hand in hand.
Well, we certainly listened to many podcast episodes on the way from here to West Virginia.
Yes.
So 11 hours it took us together.
And we got some really good pictures, and so that was a good memory because I took a bad situation and kind of made it into something good, and it's a good memory. So we have pictures that we took, and we have one hanging up, and it's kind of it has nothing to do with our concept of what we're trying to design the house, and it's still a memory from that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in photography, and I'm going to start doing more of it, but I don't have a lot of spare time on my hands. So
yeah, that was a pretty good
memory, right?
That's a good one, honey. That's a good one. Let me see. Let me think about our favorite memory that we have together. You know, I feel like this is one that's like we repeat this memory. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a single one, but whenever we wake up in the morning and we're like in our pajamas in the backyard, because he likes to do this thing called earthing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool. And there's actually, I think, research behind it that proves that it's a good, healthy thing to do. As soon as you wake up, go outside, get like, they say at least 10 minutes worth of sun.
Yes.
We usually spend much longer, but he likes to, as soon as he wakes up, he's outside in the backyard.
In my underwear.
Getting fresh air in his underwear.
No socks on.
And sometimes I'll join him with like our coffee and stuff. But like the whole idea of like, so we're both out there in our pajamas in the backyard outside.
Yes.
And we'll usually go walk through our garden that we've created together.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll look at what has grown and, you know, how things are doing. And our garden is booming right now.
It's booming.
And we will tell you
and
guys
it's gonna,
about it.
And it's going to get bigger.
And it's going to keep growing. It brings me so much joy. But that's one of my favorite things and memories that we create over and over again is when we go out there in the morning, we're in our pajamas, we're out there looking at the garden, going, oh, look at this, and look at the tomatoes, and look at the cauliflower. And sometimes we're sitting out there, we're jumping around because we're excited that we saw our cauliflower growing, and we're like in our pajamas in the backyard.
And I do it without my cell phone on me. I have no electric devices on, And I go out there and I put my feet in the soil and I close my eyes and I just take it in. And then I grab my phone and I do it, but it's a daily routine and it's my reset for the day.
It's a good daily routine. It's a good daily routine. So that's how my favorite memory with us is when we go out in the morning, our little morning routine. It's a good one.
It's
a good
nice.
one. You know, so I think that's pretty cool. But you know, we've done a lot of fun things. We're doing a lot of fun things together, and we're gonna continue to do a lot of fun things together. You know,
definitely.
And that brings me such joy and such peace, honey. And I try to express it to you all the time, and I hope you feel it. I hope you feel the love.
Definitely.
Do you feel the love?
Oh yeah.
Good. Good. So what do you think of modern dating?
I try to keep it traditional, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little different.
It's a little different.
But I'm not interested in anyone else, so I really don't have to touch on that topic because at this point, I think we're a little bit past the dating concept.
Clearly not with us, but I'm saying just in general. Like, what do you think of the way that people date these days, and do you think that it affects the ultimate relationships?
Well, shit. The way it really works these days is there are no real relationships, you know, because they're jumping from one to one. I don't think there's a lot of serious.
They're all very surface level.
Yeah, I wonder if marriage, the numbers of people actually getting legally married, did that jump, or did it take a dive?
I think I think in general it's taken a dive. Now, don't quote me because I haven't done the research on it. But
Okay.
I think it's taken a dive.
Now, what about the divorce rate?
Oh, through the roof.
Through the roof, right?
Yeah.
They said that the COVID-19 thing, like when people were locked inside with each other, divorce rate went through, and fucking domestic violence.
Domestic violence, yeah.
Because people were spending too much time with each other.
Exactly.
They were.
You were forced to be in the same. they were having sparring matches.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's true. I mean people were forced to be in the same. I mean it was stressful for everybody, but especially if your relationship was dysfunctional already and you had to be in the same space. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
That must have been like a powder keg for some people.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I wasn't fortunate enough to get to stay at home during the COVID-19 thing. I had to work the whole entire time because that was essential.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't rewarded for being essential either. So.
Well. You were probably rewarded with COVID a few times, huh?
Maybe. I think I actually got it before it was a thing. I think I got it the year before because everybody else was sick too. The year before COVID-19 was actually a thing. Oh, there was something out there the year prior. So
it was brewing.
Yeah, it was brewing. Okay.
No, I think you're probably right. Yeah, but in terms of the whole relationship, there's so many. I feel like that one of the things about dating, modern dating, which again I have so little experience with dating in general, so it's hard to even compare. But I feel like there's so many rules.
Well, the internet actually changed the way dating is because
like
without the internet, we would have never met. You know,
exactly.
Think about that.
We would have never met. And that's how I actually met my former husband, was online too. So it's been changing things for a while, but I feel like even beyond that, these days there's all these rules where you can't, it's almost like it's a badge of honor to act like you don't care, or you're too cool about it, or don't double text, and don't be the first one to say you got feelings, and don't it's almost like you've got to I don't know. It's almost like it's a competition more so than it is a partnership.
So if you have to listen to your friend's advice on how to date, you're wrong. You're setting yourself up for failure right there.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get advice from the world on how to
it's like,
how to date.
And if you're the woman, don't chase. And it's like, but But like, can't you just be yourself? And all those rules and stuff, like people can't be themselves, and that's probably why these relationships are so surface level, because nobody's being themselves.
I don't listen to fucking anybody and advice on dating or anything like that, because they always lead you down the wrong path. You know, you gotta feel it in your heart.
Yeah, and really, it's only you that can determine it for yourself. But I just feel like a lot of people are so busy following all these rules that they're not themselves. And you know, I'm glad.
Well, I don't give advice on dating either.
I'm glad that you and I both didn't really care about those rules, because we were both ourselves.
Man,
we've always been ourselves.
Yeah, it is.
With each other.
Those rules don't apply. Yeah.
Yeah, rules are meant to be broken.
And that's I break them.
Rule breakers. Such a rule breaker.
Yep.
I wasn't always a rule breaker. I've always been a rule follower, but you know what?
No,
I broke some rules.
I broke enough rules to where I think I should probably start following the rules to keep myself in check, you know? So yeah.
Well, yeah. This has been fun.
Yeah, so that's how we met, and we're gonna
keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. We're gonna keep sharing our views, and hopefully you guys like this conversation that we're having. So
bye, y'all.
See you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Stay connected to the podcast via handle @Intriguing Insights Podcast on YouTube and Gmail, and handle @Intriguing Insights Pod on Instagram.
See you next time.